so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads out there. Thanks for tuning your beautiful brainwaves into another episode of the Positive Head Podcast, where we are firmly convinced that creating success and happiness is rooted in understanding the ultimate nature of reality, and the fact that as human beings, we are all immensely powerful fractals of the one and only source consciousness which creates and animates all things. After years of exploring this awe-inspiring truth on this podcast, I'm super excited to announce that we are now going even deeper down the rabbit hole on the new late-night style consciousness-elevating talk show called Optimistic, which features none other than you, the listeners. Optimistic is taped out of the epic spaceship-esque 8-bedroom property we call the Mystic Manor that myself and the rest of the Optimistic crew now navigate reality from in Venice Beach, California. And you are invited to come experience a Mystic Manor immersion week with us. During your week-long stay, you'll enjoy unique workshops, chef-prepared meals, one-on-one time coaching and consulting with me, and even co-creating magic with me as a guest on both Optimistic and an episode of the Positive Head podcast. When I started this, my aim with these immersive retreats was to facilitate the ultimate spiritual upgrade and tune-up, so to speak, for our guests while providing them with one of the most memorable experiences of their lives. And I'm happy to say that as of this recording, every guest at the end of their trip so far has told me that they have had a profound and transformational experience at the Mystic Manor and that they definitely want to come back. All that being said, we only have a limited number of spots available between now and next July. And as of this recording, about half of those spots are already filled. So if there's any part of you that is screaming, yes, I want to come, I feel like I need to be there, go now and book a slot with me to discuss how we can put our heads together and make it happen at calendly.com/talkwithbrandon. I know for some people, there is also that little voice in their head saying, why not? I can't get off work. I can't afford it, and on and on and on. But, really, Henry Ford, I think, said it best. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. And I'm confident that where there's a will, there's a way. And I'm personally committed to doing everything in my power, including discounts and payment plans, to get you here if it is something that truly feels like a huge yes for you energetically and like you're meant to be here. Once again, the link to book time to discuss with me is calendly.com/talkwithbrandon. That's spelled calendly.com/talkwithbrandon. All one word, of course. And book in some time and look forward to seeing you soon here at the Mystic Manor.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. This trip I had to Mount Shasta recently has really been bringing up a lot of different things for me, and I talked on Tuesday about that trip and also about the equinox and it being the time of year for letting go. And I got to thinking about what are those things that we need to let go of? And the biggest thing that came up was fear. Because really, we have two big emotions, right? Fear and love. And there's all these subcategories. But fear is really the one thing that holds us back. And at the same time, it's so silly because it's completely an illusion. Like, not real at all. Did you ever hear the acronyms for fear? False evidence appearing real. Another one is face everything and rise. Because what do we really have to fear but fear itself, right? The famous FDR quote from, I think, the 1930s, 1933, his inaugural address. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And nothing could be more true than that, because fear just perpetuates itself. And being that it is an illusion, and we're creating fear continually based on these illusions, and they just build upon one another on a hamster wheel, it's so silly. And I say that because I look at my own life and I think how many times fear has held me back. And for what? For my fear of like, what if? What if this awful thing happened if I do this? And how many of those things actually happen? Like, for instance, it's interesting. Both times I've been there 3 times, but the first time and this time, both times I was very fearful of going because I was leaving my oldest daughter at home. Now, I made sure that she had someone staying with her the whole time. I told her boyfriend's parents that I was going to be away. I covered all these bases. But I still had this fear of leaving her. Like, what if something happens when I'm gone? Normal parent fears, right? But so silly. It's just so silly. There was no reason for me to be afraid because I know that she is protected. She's always protected. Just like I am, just like we all are. And if something is going to happen, it is beyond my control. But what I can control are my thoughts and beliefs and my worries, because I certainly don't want to go and create that type of reality by focusing on the fear, because we all know, right? What we focus on is what we create. So the last thing we want to focus on is our fears. We don't want to go and create this because, as we're moving into this new earth, and we already are here now, our thoughts are becoming our realities so much more quickly. Have you noticed this? These little things that are showing us. I'm thinking of right now, there was something on the Facebook group, and it was, I think, last week sometime, and I'm sorry, I don't remember who posted it, but she said it was something that she thought about getting stuck in an elevator, and then she actually did get stuck in the elevator. Like, she wished that she would get stuck in the elevator, and then she did. And yes, that is the power of our thoughts. That's the universe. Little things like that, things that aren't going to harm you. The universe is showing you the power of our thoughts. Now, it's not going to be so cruel as to make all of our fears come true, but we have to actually consider what we are doing with our thoughts and our beliefs. And remember, just an illusion. We are making all of this up in our heads. For what? And what does fear really come down to? Fear of what? There's so many different kinds of fears. Fears of death, fears of ill health, fears of maybe harming another or getting harmed yourself. And out of our control, completely 100%. When it's our time, it's our time. And that's up to our higher self. And there's no worries about fearing that, because it's just going to be when it's going to be. And why spend any time out of the present moment worrying about the what ifs? And speaking of our higher self, when we're having fears in our mind, sometimes for those of us who are intuitives, and I think many of you or most of you listening are very sensitive intuitives, and all of you, by the way, are intuitive. Maybe you just don't recognize it yet, but we all have this intuition, and our higher self never speaks to us in fear, only in love. But as intuitive, sometimes we start thinking, oh, am I thinking of this thing? Is this actually going to happen? And should I listen to that? And what is the real thing here? If it's fear-based, it's not your higher self. The only time that your higher self will make you fearful is if it's something like primal, like you need to get out of there quickly and now. And that feels so different. You feel that in your body. It is like immense fight or flight. Like it's a body reaction. It's not just a little voice in your head, right? So that's different. And when I think about fears and not focusing on fears and not being afraid, I think of this analogy. I grew up in or outside of the city of Philadelphia. So we would always go into the city and do certain things. And as someone who lived outside of the city going into the city, that could be a scary experience depending on what type of neighborhood in the city that you're in, right? But the last thing that you want to do is walk around on a city street at night alone, afraid. If you're going to be walking alone on a city street at night, you better walk with your head held high, shoulders back, not scared. You don't want to emit that kind of energy because that's what will attract the problem. And, I've heard they've asked people in jail for mugging and assault crimes, things like that. And that's what they say. They never pick on somebody who's going to be a tough fight, right? They see the fear in people and that's what they target. So your fear in that case brings on that situation. So let's not allow life to do that kind of thing to us. We can learn this now and not have to have those things happen to us. Unless it is a karmic situation, which is another thing that we need to let go of. And how do we do that? Forgiveness. Number 1, in forgiveness lies the stoppage of the wheel of karma. That's a Law of One quote. And it makes me think of Jesus as well. Speaking of forgiveness and karma, it's interesting when he said, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You think maybe he was talking about karma? Because that's how it works, doesn't it? Everything that we do comes right back to us. So if we treat each other as we would want to be treated, if we forgive one another as we would want to be forgived, then we can release karma, lifetimes of karma. So of course, I found a clip of Dolores Cannon, my favorite teacher of all time. This is a clip from the 3 Magic Words movie called How to Let Go of Fear and Release Karma. Take a listen.
Fear is the strongest emotion that a human has. We have to let go of that so that we can move into a new direction. Fear holds us back. It cripples us. And too many people are bound up in it. That's one of the things I've been told to tell people is to let go of fear. Also to let go of karma. Those are the 2 main things because we drag karma around. It's like a lot of baggage and garbage. And it holds us back and makes us sick. Until we can dump these things, we're not going to be able to move forward into the new world, the new dimension, and the new frequencies. But that was my main message I've been told to tell people is to release karma, because in anything that's going to hold you back, we don't need. Karma is the garbage and the baggage we carry around with us through the different lifetimes. Sometimes it goes to a relationship, and sometimes we've had the relationship with the same people through many lifetimes, set up a pattern on the same life, the same situations repeating itself again and again. Because if you don't work it out, you have to come back and do it over again. And before you come into a life, you're on the other side, you're reviewing your life you just left. And karma is the law of balance, cause and effect. If you've done something in the other life, you don't get out of it. Not even this life either. Everything you do, what goes around comes around. But when you're on the other side, you discuss the life you've just left with those people you were involved with. And you'll say, well, we didn't do such a good job, did we? Let's go back and try it again. This time you be the husband, I'll be the wife. You be the mother, I'll be the daughter. You can switch roles around any way you want. But you're brought back into the same situation again and again. That's why a lot of people can't understand, why do I keep drawing the same thing to me over and over again, the same kind of people, the same kind of situation? It's because they have not worked it out yet. They've not figured it out. The same situation again and again. And this is what happens. And if you don't work it out, you're going to have to come back and do it again with the same people. So the idea is to do it now, to get rid of it now. Get rid of the garbage and the baggage. And you can identify it by those feelings. Is there something about the situation that doesn't feel right? One of the best ways to get rid of it is just to forgive the person and release it and let it go. And I've had clients that tell me, I can't forgive them and let them go. You don't know what they did to me. But as long as they're holding on to it, that's karma. When you release it, you've let it go and you don't have that karma anymore. But they have a terrible time doing it because they're so stuck with that. But until you can release it and let the person go with love, you say, you go your way, I'll go mine, it's not working. Let's tear up the contract. We're just not going to work anymore. You go your way, I'll go mine. When you do that, it's like a miracle happens. You don't have to do it face to face. You can do it mentally to the person. Saying enough is enough. I've had it. You go your way, I'll go mine. We tear up the contract. And then when it happens, all of a sudden they can't push the buttons anymore. It's only a game anyway. You ever notice that? People know what buttons to push to get you upset, to get you angry, to get a reaction out of you. Once you forgive them, let it go and release it, they can't push the buttons anymore. It doesn't bother you anymore. Then it's no fun, and they stop. But then you release out of it, and you go on to your next lesson, which may or may not be better, but at least it's a different lesson. And then you get to where you realize when you are creating karma, and you know how to stop it before it goes any further. That's what this time is all about, getting rid of the karma. Don't carry it any further, and try not to create any more. That's what this time is about right now. And I said earlier, getting rid of the fear. The fear and the karma, the two things you've got to let go of. But we're coming to a time, especially with the new earth, where the karma won't exist anymore. Those that still have it and hang on to it are not going to move forward. It's the main cause of cancer, especially in the intestinal area, is holding on to anger, holding on to it, not being able to talk about it, not being able to release it. And after a while, it just begins to churn around, begins to eat away at the organs, and it creates cancer because we hold everything within. That's the main thing I've found with cancer. The person can't talk about it, they can't release it. And I had one man that come to me who had cancer in every part of his body. Every time the doctors would operate on one part, it would come back in another part. He'd operate there and would come back somewhere else in his body. And I asked him, are you angry at anything? He said, yes, my ex-wife, I hate her. She has the children and she won't let me see them. And I said, the only way you're going to get rid of this is to forgive her and release her and let her go. He said, I can't do that. I can't forgive her. If I forgive her, she has won. I said, she will win if she kills you. It's that simple. We don't hurt anybody else. We're only hurting ourselves by holding all of these things in. That's what I do in my work, is to get people to realize this.
So our fears can cripple us, and our karma can be like baggage that we're dragging around with us and holding us back, and even possibly making us sick. And what she was talking about there with moving into these new frequencies and into this new vibration of the new earth, we can't bring any of this baggage with us. We got to let it all go. We don't need it. We don't need any of it. We bring in the love. Life is so much better, so much more simple, like she said at the end. It really is that simple if we just allow ourselves. Do we want to hurt ourselves by holding all of these things in? No, none of us do. So we can let it go, knowing that we're only hurting ourselves. Like she talked about that man at the end, not being able to forgive his ex-wife, but he's only hurting himself. And how many of you have these karmic relationships that she was talking about? The same relationship over and over again, the same situation repeating again, just because you have something to work out. And because it hasn't been completely worked out yet, you have to do it again. And I'm willing to bet that these situations are about self-love. So many things just come right back to not loving ourselves enough. So let's love ourselves a whole lot more so we can let go of our fears and let go of these karmic relationships by doing exactly what she said. Enough is enough. My grandma used to say that too, and I love it, and I find myself saying it too. Enough is enough. Okay, we tried. I'm going to let you go with love. Let's tear up the contract. You go your way. I'll go mine. I forgive you, right? You can do this. It doesn't even have to be face to face. But if you can learn from these situations, the lesson that we are supposed to learn, most likely about self-love, then it can be let go. And that's huge. You don't want to go around picking the same ice cream, different flavor, right? We want to learn. We want a whole new type of dessert, right? Because that's way more delicious than the same old ice cream. And it's only a game. Remember, this is only a game. This is an illusion. That fear is an illusion. The only thing that is real in this life is love and our unity and how we are all connected and never alone. And when we truly get that it is a game, these are all these experiences and lessons that we get to learn in this beautiful experience we call life, the more we realize that, the more we realize that we are creating it. And then we become these magical creators that can do anything and everything that we want. In this sea of infinite possibilities of love, we can do anything. So have no fear. Know you're always being guided and protected and that you are loved. And I love you. I'm going to leave you with a song today. This is Wookiefoot. Be fearless and play. Until next time, everyone. Love you all.
And if you're feeling the call to come for a week retreat style Mystic Manor immersion, remember to go now and book your time to speak with me directly about stepping into the optimistic vortex at calendly.com/talk with Brandon while there are still spots left. Otherwise, I look forward to co-creating magic with you at the Mystic Manor.
Light of sun in the sky sends the message, be fearless and play.
These are no normal times, my friend. I could see the storm clouds gathering. Try to close your eyes to the ignorance and lies, but it still feels like a heavy load. Greed and fear are the seeds that appear to have taken root through our garden right here. These sights and sounds were dragging me down, so I went out upon the road. I went across the ocean out to Thailand and Cambodia, up Japan to Sri Lanka, to Tibet and down to India. And up on a hill in Rishikesh, I came across a holy man with shining eyes and lips, a smiling grin, and this is what he said. Nothing so tall we can't climb over. There's nothing so wide we cannot cross. No. The time to Benedict down to India. And up on a hill in Michigan, I came across a holy man with shining eyes and with the smiling grin. And this is what he said. Nothing so tall we can't climb over. There's nothing so wide we cannot cross. No. The time has come to raise your voices. The light burns brightest when our hope seems lost in the dream. Wake your memory you had as a child. Go wild, let me hear you scream. Be fearless and play. Be fearless and play now. Even though we never seem to have it all together, still I know when it's all together we could have it all, yeah. Be fearless and play, yeah. Be fearless and play, my friend. You can live for tomorrow and still live here in today. Be fearless and play, yeah. Be fearless and play. This is one thing no one could ever take away.